What happened to the conversation about the policies of the Biden-Harris administration? I think it's a valid question. Their record on so many issues gone wrong: inflation, the border, foreign policies, wars breaking out all over the world, and the cover-up of Biden's mental health. The list goes on. In fact, it was so bad, Joe Biden got removed from the Democrat ticket in a last-ditch effort by Democrats to hold office. And Kamala Harris was with him in support of every aspect and every step of the way, even after the debate.
It was a slow start. That's obvious to everyone. I'm not going to debate that point. I'm talking about the choice in November. I'm talking about one of the most important elections in our collective lifetime. And do we want to look at what November will bring and go on a course for America that is about a destruction of democracy, electing a man who has said he'll be a dictator on day one? Or do we want to continue on a course that's about strengthening America's economy, building and creating 15 million American jobs, over 800,000 manufacturing jobs?
Well, that support's gone. So I have to ask, with Kamala Harris as president, what is possibly going to change? Well, let's start with the biggest issue facing Americans, according to Gallup polling back in March, and that is, without question, inflation. Now, I don't need to spit out a bunch of stats on how expensive things have become under this administration. You go buy anything, it's way more expensive than it used to be. Houses, cars, groceries, you name it. But since Harris has been named the presumptive nominee, she's not even talking about it. How about this? There's proof of it. The AP, Associated Press, tracking what she's saying about it. Not once in speeches in Wisconsin, Indiana, or Texas did she even mention the word inflation, the biggest issue. She's not even acknowledging it. At least Trump is, and I want to remind everyone, he handed their administration a 1.4% inflation rate, well under the standard of 2%. And he talked about it yesterday with the NABJ in Chicago. How does he do it? You unlock our energy sector.
Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying our country. And it's destroying the black community probably as much or more than any.
What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy by Joe Biden.
And how about the border? Harris' campaign has been focused on clarifying she wasn't the border czar. I fact-checked that last week in the White House archives. Biden put her in charge, period. That's what he did. And say, for argument's sake, though, even if she wasn't, what's her plan? Democrats continue to blame Republicans for not passing the Senate border bill, but you have to ask yourself, why did it get this bad under the Harris-Biden administration in the first place? How about dismantling pretty much everything Trump had put in place? Start there. According to the Migration Policy Institute, they logged 296 executive actions on immigration taken by the administration as of January 19, one day before Biden's first anniversary in office. The Biden-Harris administration invited what is happening and everything that has come along with it. And now it's reported that Kamala Harris supports increasing the number of Border Patrol agents. But Harris is on record saying ICE needs to start from scratch again, and crossing the border illegally shouldn't be a crime.
Raise your hand if you think it should be a civil offense rather than a crime to cross the border without documentation. Can we keep the hands up so we can see them?
You saw her there. So does she want a secure border or not? It's really hard to tell at this point. And according to Gallup, the other big issues for voters, they are crime and violence. Here's what Harris' record is on that.
We have to reimagine safety and public safety in America. You know, the status quo has been to determine and create policy around the idea that more police equals more safety. And that's just wrong.
Okay, another one is affordable health care, which now Harris says she no longer supports a single-payer health care system, despite the fact during her first year in the Senate, she co-sponsored independent Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All legislation, which would create a government-run health insurance program and essentially end the private insurance market. So where does she really stand on that? Again, it's very hard to tell. And another big one is drug use. According to Gallup, which we know much of the drugs coming into our country get here through our very porous and open southern border. So if you're wondering what her record is on the big issues, the big ticket issues, it is there. It is called the Biden-Harris administration, which was on track to put Trump right back in the White House.